Subsea Global Solutions is an underwater inspection, repair, and maintenance company. So we have about 11 offices around the world: Tampa, Miami, Houston, Gulf, Long Beach, Port Angeles in States. We've got 2 stations in the Atlantic coast of Canada, Halifax and St. John. One office in Vancouver on the West Coast. We've got Caribbean offices, Trinidad and Curacao. And we've got an office in Busan, South Korea. We focus on delivering inspection, U-wild, hull cleaning, propeller polishing, maintenance services, as well as technical high-end repair services to our companies. These include basically from A to Z, let's say thruster changes, replacements. We do shaft seal exchanges, repairs. We work on oil and gas and offshore installations, assets. When rigs are coming, like from cold stacking, we remove and install their thrusters. We can unbend, bend propellers. We can straighten them up, and we do a lot of rudder repairs as well. So it's a whole combination of let's say straightforward maintenance services, all the way up to very complex wet welding repairs that we can deliver to our clients. Our clients are from cruise industry, as well as from commercial shipping industry. And oil and gas. We do a lesser extent also marine construction work. Of course, we are heavily working on environmentally friendly hull cleaning technologies. We've got 2 technologies that we're working on. One is whale shark, the other one is EnviroHull. As you know, environmental concerns are very high on the agenda. Ports are basically restricting hull cleanings, but hull cleanings are critical to the fuel savings for the owners, and they also help like maintaining the ship. So it's more like along the lines of how do we capture invasive species, how do we filter the growth, and how we reclaim, the growth. Each water board, in each board, they have different requirements. So we're working with those water boards, California being one, Vancouver another one, Singapore another one, and in Busan, South Korea, where we have high traffic, to open up those ports, for hull cleaning on the pier side. We can do hull cleanings on the offshore, but on the pier side, these are not allowed today legally. So we're working on those technologies. We also we're working on expanding ourselves into Singapore and in Europe. We already do work there, but we don't have our own offices. So we're looking at making a few acquisitions within this year. So within 2019, hopefully we'll be having our own presence, flag on, in Singapore. That's a key port for us, as well as in Europe. That could be probably, in Northern Europe. Yeah. I mean, I also have a ship management background. I think if you speak in general shipping, I think the biggest challenge is the people challenge. So how are you going to attract a good caliber of seafarers to the industry? How are you going to train them up? That's the big challenge, for me going forward. This has been a never-ending challenge, and still hasn't really been met, successfully. So I would say people challenge is number 1 on the list. You do have environmental challenges like decarbonization. Everybody talks about scrubbers. The emissions. Limiting all those. I think this is still valid. I think if we absolutely should decarbonize, this is also high on top of the list, but it's not as high as the people challenge. I would say you've got the right people, then you're going to have the right solutions, put it this way. Okay. Digitalization, everybody again talks about digitalization. The challenge, how are we going to transition, to this era. To me, this is already happening. It's a matter of, again, when you bring new people into the industry, how are you going to train them up? Or the existing workforce, how are you going to train them up for the, let's say, for the new technologies that you're always introducing? We've got to be careful not overloading our people. That's all I want to say. So that's a big challenge. As far as our business is concerned, I think environmental concerns will be high on our agenda. So what we're doing is we're also working on with companies, helping them to develop their biofouling management plans. This will be even more important going forward for ships entering ports, having their hulls ready, and clean of invasive species, having a track record of cleaning their hulls, keeping it maintained, and keeping the records up to date. That's going to be key for our clients, as well as fuel consumption. Yeah. The image. Yeah, that's it. It's never been, let's say, very good. A very positive. So, this is a never-ending, a perception. Shipping's image has never been, spectacular, put it this way. So, if I could change one thing about shipping, it would be the image. And with that, obviously, a lot of things would come attracting, a better seafarers, a brighter, younger generation to our industry. I've talked a little bit about digitalization. I think that's sort of any innovation around bringing in more efficiencies, making your business more efficient, faster. I think that's going to be critical. If you are, it depends on which sub-industry you're at. If you're an owner, there are different sort of innovations that you're gonna deal with. If you're a ship manager, you'll have others. And I mean, let's say broadly speaking, people talk about autonomous ships, as a new innovation. They say but I don't really believe in autonomous ships, per se, in the long, let's say short to medium run. Autonomous ships don't mean unmanned ships. I think there will be a human element still connected, to the autonomous ships. So there will still be a skeleton crew, on board. I think that really is about it. We have to be mindful of with the pace of innovation and to balance it. With the cost and safety. Let's say considerations. Okay. SGS is growing. We've been constantly investing into our technology and people. As I said, we're looking to expand our business in Singapore, in Europe. We are probably the number one diving contractor in the world in terms of diving. Diver technician numbers. We've got about 130 plus diver technicians. With 11 stations, we truly, let's say, aspire to become a global underwater resource, for our clients. And this has not been attempted before. Diving has been, commercial diving has been a very pragmatic industry. So it was more around, local mom and pop shops, in each port. We are transforming that into something, a different, in terms of coverage, global support, technical expertise, and I would say, a bench depth. So from I think 2019 onwards, like we're going to continue that trend. We are working with a number of partners. As I said, like biofouling management planning, environment friendly hull cleaning. Third one that we're working on, is helping our clients to maintain their thrusters. Not only repairing them, but also maintaining and overhauling them. So without having the need of the OEM, we can actually do that 2019 onwards. From A to Z, basically demount the thruster, maintain and overhaul it in our workshop, and basically mount it back when it's necessary or when it's ready. So that's a new concept that we're developing to the market. With that, I would like to say I think the importance of having a reliable underwater services partner is becoming more and more critical. When you take into consideration the environmental concerns that I've mentioned before, 2020 low sulfur requirements, meaning that ships will be burning more expensive fuel, the ones that didn't install the scrubber. So saving fuel will be even more critical. So they're gonna all need clean hull. I think that the cost of maintaining the hull, will be embedded into the general operating expense budget of the ship going forward. So which is more of an ad hoc expense. It's going to be a regular expense. So we are really positioned very well to support our clients worldwide on that.